started with a dream and a pot. But not just any pot. A pot so massive, it looked like something out of a legend. A pot so big, it could feed an entire village and still leave leftovers for the next one. In Lagos, Nigeria, Hilda Baci, the chef who had already made international headlines for her record-breaking cooking marathon, set her sights on making history once again. Her mission? To cook the largest pot of jollof rice the world had ever seen. For Nigerians, jollof rice isn't just food. It's culture. It's pride. It's the battle cry of every wedding, birthday, and festival. To attempt a record like this wasn't just about the Guinness Book of World Records. It was about telling the world that Nigerian jollof was second to none. The preparation was nothing short of monumental. Engineers designed and welded a giant steel pot built only for this challenge. Truckloads of rice, crates of tomatoes, peppers, onions, spices, and gallons of oil began arriving in the days before the cook-off. Hundreds of volunteers gathered from across Lagos, students, food lovers, and fans of Hilda who wanted to be part of history. They chopped, peeled, stirred, and prepared, all united by one purpose: to help Hilda achieve the impossible. When the big day arrived, the atmosphere felt like a festival. Music blasted through speakers. The crowd buzzed with anticipation, and cameras from around the world pointed at the towering pot. Flames roared beneath it, licking the steel and sending waves of heat into the air. And then, there she was, Hilda Baci, dressed in her chef's whites, spoon in hand, with a look of fierce determination. This was her stage. This was her moment. But the challenge was brutal. How do you stir rice in a pot taller than the average person? The solution: wooden paddles crafted like giant oars. Assistants had to climb ladders to reach the bubbling surface. The heat was relentless. The rice threatened to stick. At one point, smoke rose a little too high, and whispers of doubt spread to the crowd. Would the rice burn? Would the pot crack under pressure? But Hilda didn't flinch. She commanded her team like a general on the battlefield. More tomatoes. Stir faster. Add more peppers. Every adjustment mattered. Every taste test carried the weight of history. Hours dragged on. Sweat poured down faces. But no one dared give up, not with Hilda leading the charge. And then the magic moment arrived. The air filled with the rich, smoky aroma of perfectly cooked jollof rice. The pot shimmered with color, deep red from the tomatoes, golden from the oil, dotted with peppers and onions. It wasn't just food anymore. It was art. Finally, the Guinness officials stepped forward, clipboards in hand, cameras rolling. The crowd hushed, hearts pounded, and then came the announcement. Hilda Baci had officially set the Guinness World Record for the largest pot of jollof rice ever cooked. The roar of the crowd shook the ground. Music erupted, drums pounded. Strangers hugged strangers. Plates were filled and passed around. People danced as they ate together, sharing a meal that symbolized far more than just rice. Hilda stood at the center, exhausted, sweat dripping down her face, but smiling wider than ever before. She knew in that moment she hadn't just broken a record. She had made history for herself, for Nigeria, and for African food culture. Because in the end, it wasn't just about cooking. It was about unity. It was about culture. It was about proving that food has the power to tell a story the world will never forget. And now, when people talk about Guinness World Records, they'll remember the day Hilda Baci cooked her way into history with the biggest pot of jollof rice the world has ever seen.